the concept of gravity. Most people's gravity is bringing something towards it.
Right. Well, I guess you would say it's anti-gravity. It's gravity shifted 180 degrees. It's anti-gravity.
And did they have any understanding about what could possibly create this effect? Did they have any areas where they'd like you to look into?
No, they knew there was a fuel source in it, and they were proficient at making it work. And again, my analogy to something like this is you can drop a motorcycle off in the wagon train days and just leave it with the keys parked outside, somebody's place. Everybody will come around it and they'll poke and prod, and eventually they'll turn the key, get it to start, and become proficient at riding it.
Yeah.
But they won't be able to understand what the hell's going on. They won't be able to make the plastic fender, much less anything else. And I think that's exactly the state we were at. We played around with the parts long enough before I got there where they could make the reactor operate, take the fuel out, and know that it makes it work. How exactly what was going on in the reactor remained a mystery at the time. I think we made some progress on what was going on inside, but I don't think anybody really knew anything. They could just watch what was going on and make note of it.
How long were you there?
I'd say about 6 months or so.
And what progress was made while you were there?
Well, we came up with a bunch of reasonably good ideas about how the reactor worked. And one of them was the square base of it was essentially like a cyclotron, which is a small particle accelerator, a circular one. Particle accelerators, linear particle accelerators are just a long tube essentially, and they accelerate particles with high voltage and radio frequencies till they reach high speeds. But a cyclotron does that in a small circular area. And there's this very heavy element 15, something that wasn't on our periodic charts at the time.
But it is now.
It is now, yeah.
When did it become on?
$300,000. So they're getting out. They're buying the house for whatever $600,000. It's probably only worth $3. This is our 9th update. We have 54,545 pounds of pasta and sauce, which is almost double from last hour. And it's getting late in the evening, which means these donations start coming in faster and more furiously. We have now eclipsed the $800,000 mark at $809,838 in donations. For those who are listening right now, it's okay if you still want to donate and push us over. Let's just push us over $1 million tonight. Let's just do it now. Let's not wait.
Eddie George, can you hear me? Hey, what up, Valentino? How you living, pimp? Okay. Well, Eddie, if you can hear me, I just want to let you know, apologies for the delay in my response. I had some people coming in my Discord, but shout out to you. Hope you're doing well.
$300, $350. But she happened to be in an area where she could get the appraisal jacked up. So they buy the house, they get $200,000-$300,000 back, and it's a straw man scam, right? It's a cash back straw man scam. So it's a real person that's buying the house. He's got perfect credit, but he's willing to ruin his credit to get a couple $100,000 in his pocket. So he never has any intentions. So it's not a synthetic identity. It's not a stolen identity. It's a straw man. He's a fake, not a fake person, but he's just a straw man. He's a stand-in. So he stands in, he signs the paperwork, he buys the house. They end up getting $200,000-$300,000. Well, this guy buys like 5 houses. So he just took up $2-3 million. They've lost $700,000. And these guys never even make the first payment. They just let them go into foreclosure. The bank immediately investigates and realizes this is fraud. So the FBI comes in, they grab Pete and Gretchen. She has to hire an attorney, of course. And she doesn't get thrown in jail or anything. They just come to their office and they tell them they're investigating them. They know what's going on. They want to talk to. They're like, well, look, we want to talk to you, and you're going to be indicted. Okay. So she comes to me. Well, actually, Pete came to me and said, look, man, can you refinance our house and get us $75,000 out to pay our attorney? I said, no problem. Gretchen gives me W-2s, pay stubs, fake. The whole thing's fake. I refinance. I get a second mortgage on our house, $75,000. They pay their attorney. Their attorney immediately says, you need to wear a wire on this guy. Like, he just got you $75,000. You know, I don't know how you got $75,000, but the attorney knows something's wrong because the attorney's like, your whole mortgage company was just shut down. There's no way you could borrow $75,000. So he's like, this guy's doing fraudulent stuff. And she says, yes, of course he is. And he says, you need to work with the FBI, wear a wire against this guy. So she calls me one day and says, listen, I got to talk to you. The FBI is asking questions about you. And I go, what? And she goes, yeah. And I was like, meet me at the pizza place down the street. So don't come in my office because everybody knows she's been indicted. Like, everybody in her office quit when the FBI shows up and gives you a business card and announces they're the FBI. Everybody quits. So I said, don't come here because they already know, they're already concerned. So I go and I meet her and Pete, and we sit down at a restaurant, a little pizzeria, and I sit down, and she starts telling me that the FBI is asking questions about me. And I'm like, well, what are you talking about? Like, what are they asking? And she goes, look, they came in, they took all our files. And like, I was like, I don't know any of this. I'm like, when did this happen? She's like, yeah, they a couple of weeks ago. And they have some of